Welcome to the Talent Pipeline, How to Grow Your Own Employees Masssquare webinar. We want to thank the Workforce Development Agency for allowing the Michigan Manufacturers Association to help spread the word about talent initiatives available to manufacturers. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on the MMA website. Feel free to share this information with other manufacturers. I will now turn it over to Mary Lynn Noah with the Workforce Development Agency, and she will introduce today's panelists. Please ask any questions you may have at the end of their presentation.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and we want to especially thank the Michigan Manufacturing Association for hosting the webinar. First, I want to give a little bit of background about the Masssquare program, which is the Michigan Advanced Technician Training Program, and it addresses two critical issues facing the manufacturing and technology industries: a widening skills gap and an aging workforce. This is an apprenticeship program model where students alternate between classroom instruction and on-the-job training. And what makes Masssquare different from a traditional two-year college program? There are practicum after each course to clearly demonstrate hands-on learning. The company provides on-site training throughout the academic experience, and it is a cohort model. Employers pay the students' tuition, provide on-the-job training with pay, and once the student completes the associate degree and program requirements, the employer provides a full-time job offer. The first mechatronics cohorts at Henry Ford College and Oakland Community College will graduate this May. Out of the 27 students graduating, 21 have taken and passed the first part of the PAL IHK certification testing. The companies select the certification testing for their employees. For more information, you can visit the website, and it's listed on the webinar page. Right now, I'd like to introduce the panel speakers: Aaron Bosca, HR Manager, EMAG; Harold Snyder, Test Lab Supervisor, FTE Automotive; and John Willis, Chief Operating Officer, KNS Services. Aaron, if you want to start to give a little bit about your company and your role.
Sure. I work at EMAG. We're a machine manufacturer in Farmington Hills, Michigan, and we are German-based. We're probably a mid-sized company. In the U.S., we have under 100 employees, so we have our one location in Farmington Hills.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. And Harold, you're next.
Sure. FTE Automotive is a Tier 1, Tier 2 automotive supplier. Roughly 100 U.S. employees, larger organization in Germany, and the program matched very well with something we thought modeled the German model. So we were very interested in the program.
Okay, thank you. And John?
KNS Services is a repair house that repairs automation equipment anywhere from hydraulic to mechanical to electronic components, drives, controllers, things like that. We are worldwide. We're in Mexico, Canada, U.S., and Europe. We're a growing company. Medium size, I would guess. We have about 240 employees in North America, and of those, about 100 employees are technicians. So we were faced with the situation of an aging workforce and also a workforce with just tribal knowledge. So this really helped us for creating a succession plan and getting people online that we can start working with.
Great, thank you. We have a number of questions. We're going to go around the panel and then open it up for additional questions. Aaron, what was the tipping point for your company to participate in the Masssquare program?
We've been part of the Masssquare program since the onset, which was in 2013, and our CEO is German, and because EMAG is a German-based company, there was a group of companies in the same situation wanted to model after German apprenticeship program. So definitely our reasons for joining were targeting our aging workforce and the skilled trade shortage for hiring.
Okay. Harold?
So we have an aging workforce and a strong job market. So attrition and turnover, it was clear that we needed to replace technician level employees. Through interviews and analyzing what the real skill set requirements were for these technicians, it was clear we needed a broad base of skills. And when the program was presented up to us, it was a good match. We thought it would be a good balance for the program with technician level students that we needed to fill.
John?
Our situation was a lot like the other two. We have an aging workforce. The good thing is we did not have any turnover. The bad thing is that meant everybody was between 50 and 60 years old. So you go around fat, dumb, and happy sometimes because you have a great workforce. They're working good for you. We started taking a look at a succession plan a year and a half ago. Masssquare was available and it was a good option for us. We really couldn't find the right talent for what we needed. And again, we mentioned about the tight job market in Michigan. I wish this program was in every state in the nation, but it's a great for us, and it's been an excellent fit.
Okay, great. Erin, how many students has your company sponsored?
We've sponsored 5 students, so 1 or 2 every year we add to the program, and we expect to in the future as well.
Okay, great. Harold?
2 students for us, cohort 1 students, and 1 will follow up probably every year going forward.
Okay, and John?
We sponsored 5 students in this last cohort, so that's our first experience, and we'll be sponsoring 1 more in the next cohort.
Okay, great. And Erin, how much more time is it to sponsor a Masssquare student versus hiring someone right out of a 2-year or 4-year college program?
Honestly, there is some time and dedication required to train the cohorts when they're at our work site.
Mm-hmm.
Proportionate to any other hire directly out of a college program, or there's still the training required that we have to for our specific type of machines that we build. So, I wouldn't say that the time spent is so excessive to prohibit us from participating. It's
Okay.
definitely worth our investment.
So do you think it's comparable hiring somebody with a 2-year degree, or
In terms of the time it takes from our
Mhm,
end, yeah,
mhm.
I would say so.
Okay. And Harold, what about for your experience?
I would agree that time is probably similar to hiring somebody with a 2-year degree.
Mhm.
Probably a little more upfront and slowly tapering off towards the end of the program. So in all, it probably balances to a similar level of commitment.
Okay.
I would say it's basically a wash for us, a little more upfront. Just for us, it was a learning curve of understanding the program and the requirements.
Mhm.
The great thing is we're able to have on-the-job training and formal training, which we don't have as an option coming in from a 2-year student. We also have students that are learning and producing revenue at the same time. So for us, really, it's better than having somebody come in and learning a job.
Mhm. Okay, great. And Erin, why use this model instead of just using a staffing agency?
When you use the Masssquare model and you have the students with you for the 3 years, you really get to grow them into the type of employee that belongs to your company. And staffing agencies are good in their own way as well, but you don't know people as well as you
Mhm.
get to know them through this type of program, and the development's completely different. Someone that's already been in the workforce may have established skills that they have or behaviors.
Okay. And Harold, why use this rather than a staffing agency?
Well, we felt it gave us the opportunity to tailor the students to our environment. Every organization has unique requirements, and we hadn't used staffing agencies, quite honestly. We direct hired in the past. It's always a risk. Some are wins, some are loses.
Mm-hmm.
But this gave us more control of the students' skill set. In the end, we think we ended up with stronger
Candidates.
technicians, for
Okay,
sure. Yeah.
great. And John, why use this model rather than a staffing
Well,
agency?
we haven't had very good luck with the staffing agency, especially for technician style. And the problem with the staffing agency, you don't have the commitment. With this program, you have a 5-year commitment as long as they're staying in the program. You can tailor them to your needs. You have the 3 years and the 2 years after. So for us, they had some skin in the game. So that's what we really liked about it.
Okay, great. And Erin, did you find, is the Masssquare program overly administrative?
No, not at all. I
Okay.
don't think there's any difference at all from the HR perspective with paperwork or filings or meetings, that type of thing. It's
Mhm. Okay.
not a burden in that way.
Okay, great. And Harold, what about for you as the lead instructor?
Yeah, there were some additional responsibilities,
Mhm.
and again, up front, it took a little more commitment. After being organized and understanding the requirements,
Mhm.
next rounds would be much easier to accomplish.
Okay.
But you can somewhat tailor it to your own needs, to be honest with you. And some of that ended up in the student's responsibility court as well.
Okay.
So record keeping.
Okay. And John, what about for you? Was it overly administrative?
Actually, from an administrative standpoint, it's no different for us than hiring somebody else. We keep track of our training records and everything the same way. The biggest thing for us was learning curve up front. So whatever we can do to help each other is a great thing. But once we were through that, it was fantastic. I'm really looking forward to the next group of kids, and it's going to be much easier going forward.
Okay, great. And speaking of that, we're going to now talk about how are the students performing. Erin?
Right. We've had great success. We've really been able to find students that fit in well with our company. I think one thing I notice at EMAG is that other employees that work for us really have a positive outlook on that program and can see the future. And over the years, they've gradually assimilated into our company. And I think that's one good thing for sure.
Okay.
We were very impressed with the pool of students to begin with, and their performance proved to be exactly what we expected from their resumes in the hiring process. They have been actually very productive from the beginning and advanced quickly and turned into actually very good students and ultimately employees.
And how did they fit in with the other employees?
Actually, I think Erin even touched on it, that actually some of the more senior employees actually took on a mentoring role and probably became more productive from that standpoint as well. So they were passing on some of the travel knowledge for sure.
And it kind of reinvigorated them as well in the process.
Without a doubt, yes.
And John?
Our students are working out great. We actually didn't know we were going to go with 5 students, but we had picked 5 students for an interview, and we were so impressed with the program and how they interviewed that we hired them all. The great thing is, you talked about the other employees. The employees at our company now see that we are willing to invest in the company, and that's a big deal. They hadn't seen that before. They hadn't seen that we were going to go with training, that we were going to invest in the company, and they totally embrace these kids. The other thing is they're hungry. These kids want to learn. And I say kids, a lot of them are young adults.
Right.
Sure.
So, we were lucky enough to have a few guys out of college, out of high school, and then some people who have been in the workforce for a while. And they know what it's like to be hungry and miss a chance like this, and it's really helped as far as the attitude and everything they've been doing. We have had a few tardiness issues, but those have been handled with a little father-son talk, and they understand what it's like to be in the real world. So it's working out great. We're extremely happy.
Okay, and I know that even though it's not a program requirement, you started your 5 students in the summer more like an internship, or
Yes.
you brought them on board?
We brought them on board, which actually was a decision we made to make sure they wanted to work for us, and we also have many divisions within our company. We asked them what they were most interested in. We put them in those areas, and we talked afterward, and it was where we wanted to put them. We talked about a rotation program, and they so much gravitated to where we put them for the summer that we kept them there. And it really worked out good. They went into school knowing why they need to learn some of the things they need to learn.
Okay, great. Erin, why should a company consider sponsoring a Masssquare student?
The Masssquare program is a really good investment for our business. When you step back and try to figure out where to put your hiring dollars and training dollars, and then you hear in the media and everywhere about the skilled trade shortages and aging workforce and things we've mentioned before. It's really like a good and appropriate way for you to spend your money compared to, what you spend otherwise.
Okay. Harold, what would you tell a company and why they should sponsor a Masssquare student?
Truly getting qualified applicants and employees, and that ramp up and are productive and a high rate of learning. So they have exceeded our expectations. So we were very pleased. We thought it was a great investment in the end.
Okay. And John?
Well, based on the talent pool in Michigan, it's hard to get the exact person you need to fill the position, along with the costs that can be incurred. The cost of the MAD 2 program is extremely reasonable, and it affords us a way to plan for the future. The other fact is employees see that we're willing to invest in our company for the long haul, and they typically embrace the opportunity to teach, knowing it's not someone that's going to be taking their job away. Assuring that we have people in place to face attrition and things like that. So I stated that earlier about the employees embracing it. That's another part of it. Not are we only investing in it, but they see that this company is going to continue on.
Okay, great. And we kind of touched on this, but just want to highlight it a little bit more on, is it more expensive to sponsor a student for a 3-year program versus an immediate hire with on-the-job training?
When you look at the return on investment, it's actually less expensive through the Masssquare program. For one thing, you're paying them less, I guess, on an hourly basis the first 3 years. Recruiting costs are a lot less, and you're also investing in their future, and you're producing, loyal employees. Because the most expensive part about, someone leaving the company, or that is the most expensive part, is when someone leaves and you have lost productivity, and then you have to have additional recruiting and training costs. So we're at the end of our first cohort, so we anticipate that they'll be with us for a long time.
Okay, great. Harold?
Same scenario. We really were looking for long-term employees. We've had some turnover. Rebound of the economy has made a very strong market in this category, and reinvestment in time for training new employees due to the turnover was probably greater than this long-term commitment from 5 years of the program. So we felt it was a great investment again.
Okay.
For us, the cost of an hourly employee that may not even have the training that we're investing in these students is more than what I'm paying these students and their tuition. So first of all, it's cheaper, period, for me. Second of all, they're generating revenue. So actually the revenue they're generating as they're working with individual technicians more than offsets the cost of the program. So it's a win-win.
Okay, great. And Erin, how long and difficult was the process to find a student? And can you talk a little bit about what you went through to find the students?
Yeah, from our perspective, it was really easy. The first year we were in the program, they had a large company fair that everyone participated in, so we were able to interview as many as we wanted, candidates. In short interviews, we then after that brought them back for group interviews. And pretty easy process. Since then, they've established a online database of resumes, so you can do either or both. So you can go online and look at their personal information and their high school, what they've done with their lives, and then also meet them in person. We do one annual fair in the spring.
Okay. Harold, was it difficult to find students?
Not whatsoever. The first pool of students was extremely strong. We got a great snapshot of several students quickly at the fair, employment fair, and then followed up with, we actually selected 8 students for a full interview on site, gave them a tour of the facility, and in the end selected 2. The toughest decision was narrowing it down to 2 because there were 6 strong candidates out of the 8 students.
Okay, great.
We came to the table a little bit late, so we weren't at the fair. We had a limited selection, and we were very lucky. We picked 5 students. We interviewed them all as a group with all my operations managers, and like I said earlier, we asked them where their interests laid, and it's worked out great. So it couldn't have been any better.
Okay, great. And I know we've been talking about the company fair. The next company fair that we have planned is for April 16th, which is a Saturday. But for companies to participate in that, you need to sign up and make a commitment to sponsor a student. And again, that information can be found on our website. The next question, do the students live near the company? And if not, is the company assisting with housing or transportation? Erin?
Our students all live within a reasonable distance to Farmington Hills. Some have a little bit of a drive, but no different than any of our other employees. We offer a paid stipend when they're in school, and they get an hourly wage while they work with us.
Okay. Harold?
Yeah, that was a little bit of a challenge in the beginning for us to balance schools between Henry Ford and Oakland Community College. Both of our students were selected to go to a different school. They were both roughly an hour to an hour and a half away from school. They did make arrangements to live closer to school while they're attending school, and they did that through family members, uncles and cousins, so it's worked out pretty well.
Okay.
And in the end, they both succeeded in attending school consistently.
Okay.
So not a problem for us.
Okay.
All 5 of ours were within 45 to 60 minutes of work.
Okay.
They all did attend Ford, which worked out really well. Also, 2 of them have now moved closer to our location. So they're putting down roots. They're making that commitment to be with our company. So that's worked out very well.
Okay, great. And Erin, have you sent the students to other company plants or other locations?
EMAG doesn't have another U.S. location, but we do have multiple plants in Germany, and we have sent our first 2 students to Germany for a 5-week time frame. And so we anticipate doing that with every cohort, if not more than once.
Okay, great. Harold?
Limited travel to Mexico, to our facility in Mexico, and a lot of cross-functional training in our facility, both manufacturing, engineering, product development areas.
Okay.
Because our company is so diverse in the different locations, we have 3 locations here near Southgate and Taylor. We had them all visit it prior to them making their choice on what they would like to do. And then we have them together, talking together, how things are going about once a month. So really that's about it. once they become permanent employees, we may take them to some of our other locations.
Okay. And Erin, is this a good fit for a small company and why?
Well, I believe it's a good fit for any size company, but if you think about a small company, it's a great investment. So it's probably even more important for a small company to participate in Masssquare because they're really using their dollars wisely.
Harold?
Yeah, I would agree that I would view us as a smaller organization in the U.S. and we tailored the requirements for our organization to fit our, environments, and it's worked out very well. A lot of job shadowing, a lot of hands-on exposure with current senior staff. That's worked out fine for us.
Okay.
For us, it's been a great fit. We don't have the resources to create an apprentice program, and this fits the bill almost perfectly with minimal cost. Finding a good technician in mid-Michigan at a salary that we can afford is really almost next to impossible. So this allows us to have the student grow in a small business atmosphere and not being influenced by a union atmosphere. The ability to work with them on a much more personal level and monitor them and mentor them also works great for us.
Okay, great. And Erin, what do you know now that you wish you knew before you hired a Masssquare student?
That's an interesting question. I mean, I don't have any regrets,
Mhm.
so nothing major like that. I think that I've personally learned a lot working with the program. I think our whole company is more involved in different ways. It's a new program for us and it's exciting, and I think that I didn't anticipate that.
Okay, Harold?
Well, the program was a little evolutionary in the beginning, so just the basics of record keeping and organization caused a little more time constraint up front, but consecutive rounds would be much, much easier just from the learning curve on the first time around.
Okay.
Actually, it wasn't bad. The biggest thing for us would have been a better knowledge of the type of contract to create with the student.
Okay.
So we did go through a learning curve in that, and actually we added 2 addendums as we learned from experience from some other people. But I think now we have a good template, and I think going forward there'll be a lot more information available for other companies to get involved, to work with some of the companies who've been involved in the system. Otherwise, it's everything we pretty much expected.
Okay. Well, that's it for our formal questions. I don't know if there are any questions from any other participants. And just while we're waiting, just to kind of wrap it up, that basically there's consensus that your return on investment, while there may be some more upfront cost or time involved in sponsoring the student, that overall it was a cheaper model, or it was equivalent or a wash of hiring somebody that you would hire right from a 2-year program.
Yes.
And that you'd all strongly recommend the program.
Definitely.
Without question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have one question. They want
Okay.
to know which colleges participate in the training program.
Okay,
They're
which
located in
colleges-
Middle Creek.
Right, which colleges participate in the program? Right now we have 6 colleges. We have Baker College at Cadillac, which has the mechatronics program. We also have CNC at Kalamazoo Valley Community College. In Southeast Michigan, we have Henry Ford College, which has CNC and mechatronics. We have Oakland Community College, which has IT and also mechatronics. Delta is planning on having a CNC program, and then also Mott Community College with a TPD program. We've had other colleges that have participated in the past, and we hope to expand if there's enough employer demand to expand the program statewide. So part of it just depends on where are the employers and do we have enough to get a cohort of 15 students to start a program. All right, well, thank you again to the Michigan Manufacturing Association for hosting us, and we thank you for participating.
That concludes today's webinar. I'd like to thank the Workforce Development Agency and everyone who attended today. The recording of this webinar will be available on MMA's website at www.mimfg.org.